You know that feeling when you see someone walk into a room and they just, like, own it?
Oh, yeah.
They have this quiet certainty, and you kind of think, wow, I wish I had that. Do you ever wonder if some people are just born with it?
That feeling, watching someone who seems so effortlessly confident,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's incredibly common. It really plays into this idea that maybe confidence is just, a trait you either have or you don't.
Right. Well, today we're going to really dig into that assumption. We looked at this dialogue. It's called Confidence is a Skill, Not a Trait, a 40-minute motivational dialogue. And it presents this really empowering view that confidence isn't some fixed thing. It's actually a skill, something you can learn, something you can cultivate.
Exactly.
So our goal today really is to unpack some of those common myths about confidence and get into some practical steps you can actually start using, like, right away.
Precisely. We want to leave you with the understanding that building confidence is, well, it's an active process. It's a journey you can actually take. It's less about some sudden personality change
Right.
and more about understanding the pieces of confidence and, how to deliberately make them stronger.
Okay, so let's jump right in. Some of these ideas about confidence that might be holding us back. One of the biggest ones. This feeling that it's just innate.
Yeah.
You see someone handle, I don't know, a tough situation with such toys, like, Beyonce commanding a stadium, and it's just so easy to think, oh, they've always had that.
It's that sort of natural talent bias, isn't it? We see where they are now, and we just assume it was always like that. We forget the likely years of practice, the challenges they faced, the internal work that went into building that up.
That makes sense.
The dialogue we looked at, it's pretty clear on this. Confidence is a skill you develop, like learning an instrument or a language.
Okay.
It takes effort, dedication, and even those people who seem so naturally confident, they've definitely had their own doubts and built up their belief over time.
That's actually a really helpful way to frame it. Because if it is a skill, well, that puts the power back in our hands, doesn't it? It means we can actually get better at it. Okay, so another really common idea, that confidence means you never feel nervous.
Ah, yes.
We have this image, right? The confident person is always cool as a cucumber, totally unflappable.
And what's really insightful here from the dialogue is how it reframes that relationship between confidence and fear or nerves.
Okay.
It suggests confidence isn't about not feeling nervous. It's about being able to act effectively despite feeling those anxieties. I mean, think about anything important you've done. Chances are you felt a bit nervous, right? Confidence is just not letting that stop you.
That's a huge distinction. The dialogue even mentioned Oprah Winfrey, someone we see as so incredibly poised.
Totally.
But early in her career, she'd get super nervous before interviews. Sweaty palms, racing heart.
Wow.
But she still went out and did it. That really shows that confidence and nervousness, they can definitely coexist.
Exactly. And sometimes those nerves are just a sign you're pushing yourself, stepping outside your comfort zone, doing something that matters. Confidence, then, is like the inner strength to push through with those feelings, not waiting for them to just vanish.
Okay. And let's touch on this one, too, because I think it trips a lot of people up.
Yeah.
The idea that you have to be an extrovert to be confident.
Yes. The loudest person is the most confident myth.
Yeah, exactly. Like, confidence equals being outgoing, the life of the party.
But the dialogue makes a really vital point here. It stresses that confidence shows up in all sorts of ways. Introverts can absolutely be deeply confident.
How so?
Well, their confidence might look different. It might be in their thoughtful listening or their carefully considered ideas or just a quiet self-assurance in what they know and can do. It's about owning your style, not trying to be someone else. Confidence isn't tied to one personality type.
So, okay, if we're agreeing confidence is a skill, something we can build up, like the dialogue suggests, almost like training for a marathon. Where do we start? What are the basic tools?
Right. The dialogue we explored really points to 3 core areas. It's about your body language, your internal self-talk, and then this practice of gradual exposure, basically, stepping out of your comfort zone bit by bit.
Okay, body language first. That seems maybe superficial.
Yeah.
But you're saying it's important.
It might seem that way, but the way you hold yourself, it has the significant two-way street effect. It affects how you feel inside and also how others perceive you.
Okay, this makes me think of Amy Cuddy's work, The power posing.
Exactly. That's a perfect example. Standing tall, open posture, taking up space. The idea is that your physical stance can actually shift how confident you feel internally.
And there's science behind that.
Yeah, interestingly, research suggests that adopting these kind of expansive postures can cause subtle shifts in your hormones, maybe boosting feelings of dominance, lowering stress hormones. Your brain is constantly reading signals from your body. So slouching signals vulnerability, maybe, but standing tall signals being more in charge.
So it's that fake it till you make it idea, but with some actual physiological stuff backing it up. Even if you're not feeling it, acting like you are can sort of kickstart the feeling itself.
Precisely. You're leveraging that mind-body link. Just consciously choosing to stand a bit taller, make eye contact, speak clearly. That can be a really practical, immediate way to start cultivating a more confident feeling.
Okay, I can definitely see the power in that. It's actionable. What's next? The second core tool.
The next really crucial piece is your self-talk. That internal dialogue, the voice running in the background of your mind all the time.
The inner critic, yeah.
For so many people, that voice tends to be, well, more critical than supportive, right? Lots of self-doubt.
Oh, absolutely. I think everyone can relate to that little voice pointing at every potential mistake.
Yeah.
So how do we train that voice to be maybe a bit kinder, more of a coach?
It really starts with just noticing it, bringing awareness to those negative thought patterns. You have to actively listen to what you're telling yourself.
Okay, so step one is catching yourself doing it.
Exactly. And once you can spot those recurring negative thoughts, the next step is to consciously challenge them. Reframe them. The dialogue had a good example. Instead of thinking, ugh, I'm going to bomb this presentation, try reframing it to something like, okay, I've prepared for this and I'm going to do my best. It's about shifting focus from guaranteed failure to your preparation and your effort.
That makes sense. Moving from judgment to, growth, positive self-instruction. The dialogue also mentioned affirmations. How do they fit?
Affirmations are basically positive statements you repeat to yourself intentionally. By consistently saying things like, I'm capable, or I handle challenges well, or I'm learning and growing, you can gradually start to counter those ingrained negative messages and reinforce a more positive view of yourself. The trick is consistency, and saying them with some intention, even if, you don't fully buy it at first, over time they can really help strengthen that sense of belief in yourself.
It reminds me a bit of Muhammad Ali, always saying, I am the greatest. It wasn't just bragging, was it? It seemed like a tool he used to build his own conviction.
Exactly. He was actively using that powerful self-talk to build this, unshakable confidence. Okay, so the third core tool the dialogue brings up is this idea of gradual exposure.
Gradual exposure.
This means intentionally stepping outside your comfort zone, but in small, manageable ways.
So not just jumping into the deep end, more like dipping your toes in, desensitization for phobias.
Precisely. Think about it like if public speaking terrifies you, you wouldn't immediately sign up for a giant keynote.
Right, definitely not.
Instead, you might start small, maybe share one idea in a team meeting, then maybe volunteer for a quick update next time. You gradually work your way up to bigger challenges. Each little success builds your confidence for the next slightly harder step.
The dialogue mentioned Susan Cain, didn't it? The author of Quiet. Apparently she was really uncomfortable with public speaking at first, but she deliberately put herself in those situations, starting small, and eventually gave these huge, successful TED Talks. That's a great example of that gradual approach working.
It really highlights that confidence isn't something you just wait for passively. It's often built through doing the things that stretch you, even when you feel uncertain. That's how you build that resilience, that belief in your ability to handle things.
Absolutely. Hearing those examples makes it feel much more doable. The dialogue also shared some really inspiring stories. Malala Yousafzai was mentioned, speaking out for girls' education, facing incredible danger. Her belief in her cause just seemed to fuel her confidence.
What's so powerful about her story is that link between her deep values and her outward courage. Her conviction gave her the strength to act, even when it was terrifying, and probably each act of bravery just solidified her belief in herself even more.
Yeah, and then there's that other story, the quieter one about the student.
Oh, the debate club student.
Yeah, right? Started off terrified, apparently, but joined the debate club, practiced consistently, worked on the posture, the self-talk, all the things we've been discussing, and eventually became the club president. That really drives home that this isn't about some magic personality trait. It's about effort. applying these tools.
Exactly. It's such a good reminder that this journey of building confidence, it's often about that consistent effort, those small steps adding up. It really is accessible to anyone, no matter where you're starting from.
Okay, so we have these core tools: body language, self-talk, gradual exposure. How do we actually make them part of our routine? The dialogue suggested a daily confidence ritual. Can you walk us through that?
Yes, absolutely. The idea behind the ritual is to make it simple but effective, a way to consistently practice these things. It has three main parts. First part, a 2-minute power pose.
Okay, so literally starting your day, standing in a confident way, tall, hands on hips, maybe arms up, really feeling that sense of capability. And breathing too, right?
Yeah.
The dialogue mentioned breathing.
That's right. Taking some deep, conscious breaths while you're in the pose can really help ground you, enhance that feeling of self-assurance. It's about physically and mentally aligning with confidence.
Got it. 2 minutes, posture, breathing. What's part two?
Part 2 is reciting 3 affirmations. Like we talked about, these should be personal to you, focused on areas you want to build confidence in. So if it's speaking up more, maybe it's my voice and opinions matter.
Okay.
The key is saying them with intention, with feeling, even if it feels a bit weird at first.
Right. Personalize them, say them like you mean them. Got it. And the final piece of the ritual.
The third part is committing to one small confidence challenge each day. This is where that gradual exposure comes in daily. It could be super small.
Like what?
Maybe making eye contact and smiling at a stranger, offering an opinion in a meeting when you might normally stay quiet, sending that email you've been putting off. Just trying something a little bit outside your usual comfort zone.
I really like that. It makes it a daily practice, doesn't it?
Yep.
Like a series of tiny wins that build momentum over time. The dialogue called it a confidence workout plan, which I think is a great way to think about it.
Exactly. It's about building the habit, like working out a muscle. You're not aiming for perfection overnight. You're just putting in the reps consistently. That's what leads to real sustainable growth and self-assurance.
Okay, so let's sort of wrap this up. The really empowering takeaway here is clear. Confidence isn't this fixed thing you're born with. It's a skill. And like any skill, you can learn it, you can strengthen it. We've talked about using your body language, changing your self-talk, taking those small, brave steps with gradual exposure.
And drawing inspiration from others who've walked that path, like Oprah, Malala, Susan Cain, that student.
Right. And ultimately, the key is moving from just knowing this stuff to actually doing it.
Absolutely. Taking action. That daily ritual, the pose, the affirmations, the small challenge gives you a really concrete way to start building that inner strength, that self-belief.
Totally agree. So to you listening, we really hope you'll give that daily confidence ritual a try. Stand a little taller today, maybe speak a little kinder to yourself, take one small step that feels just a tiny bit brave. You really do have the ability to cultivate the confidence you want.
Which brings us to maybe a final thought for you to ponder. Confidence isn't really about reaching some magical state where you never feel doubt or fear again. It's more about cultivating the courage to act, to move forward even when those feelings pop up. So thinking about that, what small but brave action will you choose to take today?